Hi everybody, welcome back to another video on our YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about hypercars. In particular, these 4 hypercars. Very rare to have all these 4, all different brands in the showroom at the same time. All for sale, apart from one, of course. So today we're going to talk about the 4 things I look at when buying a car personally that you should look at. 1 is looks, 2 is drive, 3 is spec, 4 is price. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think is the best out of these 4. So first off, we have this 2014 McLaren P1, finished in volcano orange with full exterior carbon pack, meaning front splitters, doors, roof snorkel, rear diffuser and rear spoiler. This is a car that I've been trying to buy for about 6 or 8 weeks, and there was a few hurdles along the way, but we got there in the end. And actually, this car has now just been sold, even though it hasn't even made the web yet. But still, we're going to incorporate it in the video. We're going to talk about the price, the age, the mileage. It's 2014, it's done 7,800 miles. And the price is 1.250 million. Next on the list is this Bugatti Veyron Super Sports. Now this is no ordinary Super Sports, this is a Sang Noir spec configuration, which means half the body is exposed carbon fiber, the other half being black with a burnt orange interior. There's only 3 Sang Noir Super Sports in the whole of existence of the world, and we're lucky enough to have this one. 2012 with only 2,000 kilometers from new. Now next we have my baby, the Pagani Huayra. 1 of 100 cars worldwide, 1 of 4 to the UK, 1 of 8 right-hand drive. This car is finished in Rosso, Dubai with a 50-50 carbon split, very similar to the Veyron. But you get the side sills, the roof, the back end, front sills, wing mirrors, etc. So a lot of carbon on this car. The whole car is carbon, as all of them are, but it's got the 50-50 split, finished in Rosso, Dubai. This car's not for sale, but I feel like we should incorporate it in this video as it gives me a reason to drive it, and it fits in here. And another reason why I wanted to incorporate it in the video is because I was torn between buying a Huayra or a Laferrari, and I was buying a Laferrari until the Huayra came up for sale, and I made a quick instant decision: just buy the Huayra. You might not ever get this chance again. So we're going to figure out on this video maybe if I made the right decision. Right, next, last but not least, we have the Ferrari Laferrari. This is a big favorite of mine. I was there at the launch in Geneva when it came out. I was a massive fan of the Enzo, and then this superseded the Enzo, and you know, how can an Enzo be beaten? But I think they did. This car is finished in Nero DS, which is a rare color, factory black. Rosso Scuderia calipers, silver wheels, which I think is nice, refreshing. Full black interior. Everything that can be carbon on the outside is carbon. Front splitter, air vent, wing mirrors, stalks, side sills and rear diffuser, all carbon fiber. This car is slightly different to the other 3 because this is a non-turboed car. The rest are all turboed. So let's see how it sounds, how it drives. I keep looking at this out the corner of my eye thinking, you need one of those. So let's see. This car is a UK registered car with 3,800 miles and is currently for sale for 2.350 million. Okay guys, don't forget to click on our YouTube channel and subscribe for all the notifications we get when we post new videos. So subscribe now. It's that button right there. It's that one. Press it. Feels a lot like a 675 LT, but it's just got that that more. That noise, it's nearly sucking me in. See, what I like about these as well, the same as the Huayra, is this glass roof. These cars are small inside. I mean, there's literally no room. But that glass just makes it a bit more airy, where the Veyron, okay, there's more room in the Veyron, but it's still very small, and it becomes even smaller with the non-glass roof, the same as the Laferrari. Let's get the 4 things, my 4 key points to any car. Number 1, looks. Does this car look incredible? Yes. Number 2, spec. This specific car, what's the spec like? For me, it's 10 out of 10. I would spec this car this way, in this colour, with all these options. This is what I would do. I think a special McLaren has got to be orange. Sorry, has. Number 3, how does it drive? I mean, come on. If anything, it's probably a bit on the raw side for what I feel comfortable with, if I'm honest. But you need that. I mean, it's a hypercar, so you need that kind of feel. They're not going to be like driving a moderate car. Number 4, where I think this car really excels compared to the other 3, is the price. Price is key. It's half the price of a Laferrari. It's half the price of a Huayra. And the Veyron Super Sport, it's not quite half the price, but it's a hell of a lot less. So for me, this is the first drive of the 4 cars. This is going to take some beating. I once said a P1 drives like you've slept with his wife and smacked its child. And I honestly think that's the only way you can sum this up. I have been tickling the accelerator. I mean, not once has it been anywhere near to the floor. Not once. I don't dare. I know what these cars are like. I've done too many miles in them. You know, there's no room for error. I'm actually really, really surprised more P1s haven't been totaled. Ooh. That haven't heard that for a while. So like all of these cars, they're all 8, 9, 10 years old. This car is a 2014. So technology isn't fantastic, not of today's standards. When you look at something like an SF90 or your luxury cars like your BMWs and stuff like that, the technology this is an iris system that's out of an MP412C. But who cares? Who uses the system? You're in a P1. Listen. All these 4 cars sound very different. The Laferrari, in my opinion, from the inside, is probably the best sounding car out of the 3. But the Huayra and the P1 have a similar sort of like turbo-y whine, and this has a bit of I can't really describe it. Like, listen, that whoosh, I mean, that's a proper whoosh. That's like, let you know that we've sucked in half of swaddling coat and we're about to spit it out. So get ready. That's what that woof is. You're not going to daily one of these. You want it to be completely unusable, but it's not really unusable. I've took many a P1 to a golf course. Golf clubs in the passenger seat. Back in the day when these cars came out, along with the Laferrari and a 918, we were the first dealership to have all 3 on sale at the same time. We had the whole collection. We've had the whole collection a few times since then. as of other dealers, but we were the first. Okay, so another factor that you need to know about this car, price. Now the other cars that we are comparing this to are all double the price, at least. So that's a massive factor why I think this car on this video is going to take some beating, because you've got to think about value. 500 Laferraris made, 375 P1s. Actually, there's 700 Laferraris made, because there's 200 or 210 Apertas. So they're double the price. I think that has a lot to do with the badge that's on the front of the car, because a LaFerrari is not a better car than this. It may look better in some people's eyes. It definitely sounds better, in my opinion. But does the fact of it having a Ferrari badge on the front make double the difference to having a McLaren badge? Home sweet home. Good start to the video, in my opinion. Good start to the video. I was probably going to leave this car to last, actually, but no, good strong start to the video. What should we go out in next? The LaFerrari, the Veyron, or the Huayra? I think we're gonna go price, in price order. I think we're now gonna go the Veyron. Okay, so my opinion on this car is gonna be very biased. Don't judge me, I don't care. There's just something about these cars. I mean, we're literally only crawling along at the minute because of the traffic on this road, but there's something about these cars that I just love. I mean, I just feel so at home in this car. I feel like, you know, I feel like it's mine. I don't know if this feeling will ever go, you know, in a Veyron. I think it'll just be here forever. It's just like a big brute of a Bentley. It's comfortable. These are the comfort seats. Mine had the same seats as these. To adjust, actually. Once again, because of the age of the car, there's absolutely no technology at all. None. I mean, less than the P1. But I don't care. It's just so relaxing. I just feel like I don't want to drive it fast. I don't want to let the engine to be loud. I just want to cruise. Maybe listen to some Pavarotti or something. I feel like I need a cigar as well. I need a cigar and some classical music. That's what I need. Should we just open it up just a wee bit? Ooh, that don't get old. That does not get old. Oh, there's something about these cars, the way they accelerate. There's just something about them. Should I put the spoiler up? Yeah, here we go. We are now in race mode. Oh, I don't really know what to say. It's actually, it's upset me really in a way. It's disappointed me because I thought I got over this. I haven't. I now know why I've done so many miles in my Veyron. Let's get back to the 4 questions I always ask myself when buying a car. Number 1, does it look good? Okay, I love the looks of a Veyron, but they're very Marmite. Not many people do. So on that one, to the masses, you're gonna have to give P1 one up there. Do I love the spec of this car? Yeah, Sang Noir, one of 3. All black, exposed carbon with burnt orange interior. Yeah, I love the spec of this car. Do I like the drive? I love the drive. I like the drive better than the P1. I like the drive better than most things, if I'm honest. And number 4, the price. Now, it's a lot more expensive than a P1, and you're creeping up to, you know, it's more expensive than a 918, it's more expensive than a P1. It's nearly as expensive as the Huayra. P1 wins for value. It's not value. It's not great value. But me, it's unbelievable. Unbiased, I love it. I don't care how much extra it is than a P1, I'd have it. They're special cars, really, really special cars. Can I tell the difference between 1,000 horse and 1,200 horse? Can I tell the difference between 1,000 horse and 1,200 horse? Let's see. Okay, so no, I can't tell the difference if I'm honest. But the acceleration is just, it's so fast. Oh, it just gives you a warning. It just like you put your foot down, it's like nothing's gonna happen, but you know you best hang on, and then poof, goes. Completely different drive to a P1, completely different drive to a Laferrari, completely different drive to anything I've ever driven. A Bugatti, a Chiron, a Veyron, standard Veyron. It's just completely different. And also it's that status as well, isn't it? You know, to have a Ferrari, to have a Mclaren, to have a Bugatti, it is completely different. Bugatti is just, it's that status, it's that symbol, it's just a word. It just sounds expensive. It sounds exclusive. It sounds absolutely ridiculously unusable and stupid and just okay, all right, calm down. Would I buy one? Yes, but I've sort of been there and done that, but this sort of makes me want to do it again, which isn't ideal. But what keeps coming in the back of my mind all the time is the cost difference between a P1 and this, or a P1 and everything else. That's really in my mind, and that's the only thing that would, as a sort of a business brain, I would think to myself, well, there has to be more reason to buy a Bugatti, you know. I just think psychologically the P1 just shows a lot better value. It's a great car. I think it will go down as one of McLaren's finest, especially when you compare it to something like the Speedtail, which was very different, but I'm not really a fan of. But the Veyron is a groundbreaking car. I mean, I've always said that one day a Veyron should be looked upon as a, you know, as a McLaren F1 in a way. I mean, it completely shocked the world and raised the bar so high. I'm a huge Bugatti fan, and I started the drive in this car explaining that I am biased and that my opinion would not be a neutral opinion. My opinion of a Veyron, this Veyron, and Bugatti is just, it can't be any higher. So my opinion is that of a reason. The reason is I've been there, I've done it. I've wore the t-shirt. I've experienced everything, the good and the bad. But there's so much more good than what there is bad. It's only bad once a year when you have to pay a service bill. It's the only bad thing. It is a bad thing, but it's the only bad thing. So next, I think we should go Huayra. From the old flame to the new flame, and just compare. I mean, for me personally, I want to go back to back with the Huayra, so I can once and for all, like, say, you know, where my heart lies. What do I say about the Huayra? Well, initially, the interior is by far the best out of the four, just without doubt. It's just the best out of the four. Single clutch gearbox, so a little bit clunky compared to the likes of the Laferrari. The Veyron, you know, is a complete automatic to an extent. The P1 is more of an F1 like this. Gearbox isn't as good as the rest of the cars, especially the Laferrari. It's an absolute work of art. It's a piece of art. The interior is just amazing. The car looks fantastic. So this is a AMG 6-litre V12 bi-turbo, 740 brake horsepower, only weighing about 1,300 kilos. Incredible acceleration, especially when you get to, say, 60 or 70 miles an hour and you accelerate. It's just, it's mad. How would I describe it compared to the P1? Feels like it's got more. Feels like I'm driving something with a bigger engine, with more power, with a better finish inside. The quality of the carbon fibre inside and outside is just absolutely second to none. One thing I love as well is if you look at the camera angle, what's different? The difference is I'm sitting in the right hand side of the car, not the left. And although it doesn't really bother me to drive a left-hand drive car, I would obviously prefer to drive a right-hand drive car. Let's talk numbers. So the Pagani Huayra is one of 100 units made. They made 100 coupes, which has the gull wing doors, and 100 convertibles, roadsters, which doesn't have the gull wing doors. Roadster come later than the coupe, so there's a few more upgrades that the Roadster has, standard that the coupe doesn't. Preferably though, you know, like an SLS, as example, I would rather have a coupe than a convertible. This is one of 4 UK cars. Only 4 cars come to the UK. I think only 8 or 9 supplied in right-hand drive in total. So, I mean, you're talking really low numbers there. As different as the Veyron is to everything else, this is also extremely different. P1 is kind of like a 675 LT, like on steroids. A LaFerrari is kind of like a 458 Speciale on steroids. There's nothing really compares to the Huayra or the P1. Just seen there, braked quite sharp. The active aero on these cars, they got 4 points of active aerodynamics. So 2 on the back spoiler, 2 on the front bonnet. They all work individual. So there's not just 2 separate ones, there are actually 4. So if you're braking hard into a right-hand bend, let me get this right. You're braking hard into a right-hand bend, I think the right-hand side front and rear will come up where the left hand will stay down. If you're braking hard in a straight line, both at the back will come up, both at the front will come up. Reason I chose the Huayra to replace the Veyron with was I wanted something that was different. I'm also not a massive fan of hybrid cars. I like a straightforward engine. I like some noise, even though the Laferrari and the P1 certainly has a lot of noise. I don't know, it's just something about hybrid cars. I'm sort of a bit in denial where, you know, when I'm forced to have an electric car, I won't like it. Only because it's forcing me into doing so. Although that's the future, it's the way things are going. So I wanted something that was different, and I narrowed it down between this and a LaFerrari. They were both very similar prices, although you don't get an opportunity to buy a Pagani. They don't come up. So at the time when I was looking, I'd just been over to the Pagani factory, and I was with Francis in Pagani because we had a silver one before, maybe 6 months before, and we were having a catch-up over a coffee in a Costa coffee tent at Salon Privé. And there was me, there was Francis from Bugatti, and the wonderful gentleman who let me buy this car from him, who's also a good friend and a customer. We're all sat having a coffee. The weather was terrible at Salon Privé. And I said, look, I want to buy a Huayra coupe. Let me know if there's anywhere for sale. I really want a right-hand drive one, but I'll take left-hand drive, but I really want a right-hand drive one. So the guy who I know owned this car, he messaged me later that day. He said, are you really serious about buying a Huayra? I said, well, yeah, of course I am. He said, come and see me next week, we'll have some lunch. Okay, no problem. So I went to see him. He showed me the car, and he said, look, if the offer's right, I'll sell it. But when we got back from dinner, and I don't know if it was lunch or dinner we went to, I can't remember. When we got back, he pulled the cover off the car in his very impressive garage, and I just absolutely, that was it. It was coming home with me, and that was that. I wasn't thinking of a LaFerrari anymore, at all. Gotta be honest, it's an awesome car. It is absolutely amazing. If they were all the same price, the P1 would probably be last up to now, but because they're not all the same price, I don't know, it's probably first. You see, you get that's what's different with this car than the other three. I'm obviously used to driving Ferraris, so it's no different visually to a 458 or you know, any Ferrari from that era. Steering wheel's slightly different shape, more of a square shape, but you know where everything is. Listen to that noise. Oh, that noise. See, that's what you don't get in the other three. The other three is a lot of whooshes and, you know, turbo spooling and stuff, but this is just... Sorry, I'm looking at Ben, my photographer, at the minute, and he's telling me, come closer, come closer, come closer, and I'm literally touching the bumper of the Range Rover. I like this. Obviously, I like this. It's a LaFerrari. We're off to a good start. Honestly, there's something about this. It's almost quite hard to talk and to drive this car at the same time. I think because your smile kind of affects your words. The design is coming up to 10 years old. 10 years old. How is that even possible? I remember being at the Geneva Motor Show when this was launched. Okay, I've got to talk about this car. What do you want me to say? Yeah. This is the only other car I would have than the Pagani. And even when I bought the Pagani, I was still 50-50 whether or not I wanted a Laf. And really, the only reason why I decided to go for the Pagani, I think I stated earlier during one of the other drives, was you don't get an opportunity where a Pagani Huayra comes up, especially a right-hand drive one. So when that car had come up and it was for sale, it's like you either do it now or you just don't ever get the chance to do it. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but I love this. It's really, really usable, easy to drive, feels like a Speciale. What more do you want in a car, really, than this? I know. The four things. Looks. Yeah, massive box ticked with the looks of this car. Not just this particular LaFerrari, but literally any LaFerrari looks amazing, unbelievable. I always judge a car on how they look compared to a LaFerrari. That's for me personally. I think it's one of the best looking cars of all time. Looks great. It drives, I mean, the way it drives is just ridiculous. I mean, we haven't even done anything, and it makes you feel like you're in. I mean, the only thing better than a LaFerrari is a LaFerrari Aperta. That's pretty much it. It drives great, sounds amazing, absolutely amazing. They cost peanuts to maintain and run. Okay, there's obviously a big hybrid battery, which I think is like £130,000 or something if it goes wrong, but it only goes wrong if you don't look after it. Services are literally 1,000 quid, 1,500 quid. Very, very minor costs. For this type of car, when you work it down in a percentage-wise, it's pro rata, it's nothing. Now let's look at value. So out of the four cars, the LaFerrari is the most over-manufactured car. There's 700 or 710 LaFerraris in total, 500 coupes, 210 Aperta meaning convertible. So there's 710 of them. One thing they have over every other one of the cars, and this is a big statement considering what other brands the cars are, is the badge on the front. It has that Ferrari badge, which means you know it's going to be good. It's a Ferrari. It just wants to go, and it just points. It literally, I call this car Vader, Darth Vader. Anyway, fourth point, price. Now this car's a shade over 2.25 million. 2.350 to be exact. And out of the four, it's the most expensive. Out of most modern cars. Chiron, 918, Mclaren P1, Bugatti Veyron, apart from a Zonda, which is like an older car again, it's the most expensive out of any car you can buy, apart from maybe a Koenigsegg or something like that. But there's a reason why. There really is. I can't turn around to you guys and say that the Pagani is a better car than this, because it's not. I can't turn around and say the Bugatti is a better car than this, because it's not. The P1, see, there's just something in my mind with the P1 that I just think they're just undervalued, and it's purely price which is making me think about the P1, purely price. If they were all the same price, it's not even a contest, as far as I'm concerned. As a car comes, the Pagani is a special thing. It's a piece of artwork. It's incredible engineering, and it's so different. You might not ever see one on the road. You pull up outside of a nice hotel, a P1's a McLaren, a Laferrari is a Ferrari, a Bugatti, it could be a Chiron Super Sport or a bog standard Veyron, and it's still a Bugatti. It's just, you know, it's got that brand. Pagani is like, wow, I've only ever seen these on the TV, I've never actually seen one in person. But forgetting that for a second, I think this is unbelievable. Can't even get to fourth gear. I mean, think about if you took the best aspects of all four cars. Say you took this LaFerrari and you only made it 100 units like a Pagani, and then made it only one of 4 UK cars like the Pagani. Can you imagine what this would be worth? I need a whiskey or something, I think. Oh my God. For me, taking everything into account, a LaFerrari has to be the ultimate car. It has to be. The gearbox is by far the best out the 4. The sound is by far the best out the 4. Saying that, I'm saying that from inside the cockpit, but from what my camera team told me, the noise of the Pagani was just unbelievable, so they said. I couldn't really hear it. You just hear a lot of whooshing, but apparently the pops from the exhaust and stuff are amazing. But I mean, this, inside the car, the noise is what you want in the LaFerrari. I haven't really enjoyed today, if I'm honest, because I've realised that I should probably add a P1 to my collection because I think they're undervalued. I've then got the urge back for a Veyron because I love them so much and they drive insane, and I miss a Veyron. And now I've driven the LaFerrari, I feel like, did I make the right choice when I bought the Pagani? This video really is how to mess up Carl's day on film. Just 4,000 revs. 6, 7. Well, to recap, as we pull in to the showroom, in my mind, in my opinion, there's one clear winner here, which is the LaFerrari. I think the LaFerrari is the winner. Although every car's got their reason while they're better than the previous. The Veyron is just luxury to a different level. Armchair seats, just 1,200 horsepower. It's a Bugatti, it's so limited. I mean, it's the P1, I think, to turn around and say, well, it's half the value of everything else is just madness, and I can't see that being the case for long. The Pagani is like rocking horse. When do you see a Pagani? You just don't see them. 1 of 100 ever made, only 4 to the UK. You just don't see them. They're a special car, incredible design and a special brand. And then you get this, which is it's unbeatable. This car is unbeatable. Congratulations, Ferrari.